Is this what they mean when they say you gotta fake it till you make it? Hey everybody, my name is April. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you're not, welcome back. Today I'm coming to you with a collab video put together by the lovely Bee from Mama Needs to Read Romance. Love her channel, and if you're not following her, you should, because she's hilarious and sweet. She wanted to do a collab full of fake dating recommendations. I'm gonna be real honest here and say that fake dating, not my favorite trope. Not my favorite trope at all. When it's done in contemporary romance, I really just can never believe it. Like, honestly, I don't understand why you go with the ruse. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Just tell the truth. Like, that's how I feel when I read contemporary romance. However, when it's done in historical romance, I freaking eat it up like candy. It's so good. And in historical romance, it's more like a fake engagement, fake arrangement type of thing. So those are the recommendations I'm bringing you today. As always, I like to bring you 5 books that I've read and loved, and then 5 that I want to read. Let's get into the recommendations. So first, we'll actually do an honorable mention, and it's an honorable mention because I actually don't really like the book, but I love the show, and it's perfect fake dating. The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. I think this is honestly fake dating 101. You have a Duke who really just doesn't want to be bothered by the mamas of the ton. And then you have the Diamond of the season who, she's also kind of a wallflower, so she really just wants to be noticed by people, and the more she's with the Duke, the more she's noticed. So they come to an arrangement of kind of this fake courting, if you will, to kind of help each other out. In the book, there's things in this book I really don't like, specifically with the female main character. However, the Bridgerton show, freaking love. It's amazing. Love it. So watch the show. That's why this is an honorable mention for me. So one of my favorite fake dating books in historical romance is When a Scot Ties a Knot. This is by Tessa Dare. Tessa Dare is just such a joy to read if you really want to get into historical romances. I honestly recommend starting with any of her books, but specifically this one. In this one, you have a very shy debutante. Her name is Madeline. She just wants to be unnoticed throughout the season, so she invents a Scottish sweetheart that she writes letters to. And she writes many, many letters to him throughout the season, and she kind of goes by the season unscathed, and nobody really expects much of her because she's already like on the way to getting married, right? Well, then she writes a fake letter saying that her Scottish sweetheart is also killed, so now she's in mourning, so now they really have to leave her alone. However, after some time goes by, this same Scottish sweetheart that she invented with the same name shows up on her doorstep, and he wants certain things from Madeline. This one is so adorably sweet and cute and funny and great. Like, these letters actually get to him because she actually makes up his name, and his name is notorious. So when he shows up wanting things, it's just so dramatic and great. I love it. So the next one is Amelie Howard's Always Be My Duchess. Loved this one. It's a Pretty Woman meets Bridgerton retelling. In this one you have Lysander, who's a duke, and he's trying to increase his fortunes through business dealings. However, some of the patrons that he's trying to have business dealings with don't necessarily trust him as much because he's not married. Neve is a ballerina who actually just got dumped by her employer. She accidentally saves Lysander one day, and they come up with a scheme for her to fake being his fiance for one meeting. After that meeting goes well, he wants to extend their time together and their fake arrangement together so that way he can get more business dealings out of it. Neve is actually a very strong heroine, and Lysander is actually a neurodiverse hero. I didn't pick up on that at first, but there is an author note about it at the end. Really enjoyed that representation in this book. And again, this is a Pretty Woman retelling. It's like almost scene for scene in some of them. Like I was like, this is the makeover scene, you know, stuff like that. But in historical times, I really love when they do that. It kind of just makes me appreciate the movie more. After I read this, I really wanted to watch the movie again. And it was so good. The next one is My Darling Duke, and this is by Stacey Reed. In this one, you have Kitty, whose family is on the brink of financial ruin. She's really trying to save her mother and her sister's reputations for the season. So she invents herself into the fiance of a very reclusive duke. So she lies to everyone that she's already unfianced to this reclusive duke, and eventually he catches on, but he doesn't tell her secret. He's intrigued by her. Like, what would make this girl tell all these lies to society? Like, why is she doing this? So he actually invites her to his estate, and then things go from there. The Duke is reclusive because he was in a war and he's tragically scarred. Love a scarred hero. And honestly, this book was just, again, very sweet. This is, again, about two people just not really knowing anything about each other, but getting to know each other in a weird situation. The next one is The Lady Temps and Air by Harper St. George. I honestly loved this entire series by Harper St. George, but I really loved Lady Helena March in this particular book. Lady Helena is a widow, and she's trying to put all of her energy into this home for young women. However, society doesn't really look down on widows that are single, helping out illegitimate children. So she's almost run out of money, and she cannot find anyone to finance her institution. That's where Maxwell Crenshaw comes into play. He's back in England to kind of secure his legacy from his father due to an ultimatum that was given to him. He's not very happy about being there. However, he runs into Lady Helena March again, and they come up with this fake arrangement to kind of help them both out. Max has money, Lady Helena has the title, so guess what? Match made in heaven, right? But of course, their attraction to each other kind of makes the arrangement more difficult. Really enjoyed this book. Helena is so sweet, and Max is hot. He's hot. Loved this one. So those are all the ones I've read. Now here are 5 books that I haven't read, but I really want to, that are all about fake arrangements, fake engagements, and fake dating. The first one is Weak to be Wicked by Tessa Dare. In this one, you have Minerva and Colin. Minerva needs to be in Scotland, and Colin just needs to get the heck out of Spindle Cove. So they decide to fake being together so that they can share one very tiny carriage for a week across the country. They're basically faking an elopement in this, and they've got to not only share a small carriage, but also a single bed in an inn, which is another one of my favorite tropes. They also have to outrun armed robbers. Love a good highwayman scene. And then they've got to travel 400 miles without killing each other. I love the concept of this. And again, Tessa Dare. Can't go wrong with Tessa Dare. The next one, I honestly want to read the whole series. I think they're all very short. Yeah, 190 pages for this one. It is In Which Winnie Halifax is Utterly Ruined, and this is by Alexandra Vasti. To secure her future as an independent sheep farmer, Winnie Wallace invents an estranged husband named Mr. Spencer Halifax. And then she forged their marriage record. So this is a fake marriage. After 10 years of deception, the real Mr. Halifax finally shows up. So when he shows up, he's like, hey, we gotta go back to London and fix this because this is not cool. We cannot lie about this. He's trying to also set a good example for his sister. However, Winnie does not want to go back to London because her mother was a thief. So she's just absolutely dreading this trip. This sounds like a total adventure, which I love in my historical romances, and I want to see what trouble these two get into. The next one is a book that I've heard that is the swooniest historical romances that I've never read yet, and that is Forever Your Rogue by Erin Langston. You have Cora Lady Dane, who got married a long time ago and it looks like she's newly widowed. However, some meddling relatives are trying to take her children away from her, which is not cool. Not cool, man. Nathaniel Travers sounds like an absolute rake, and he is fine with being a rake. However, when his coffers are cut off by the Earl, he's about ready to do anything to keep the money flowing, including entering into a ruse with Lady Dane. They think that the fake engagement is the answer to their prayers. However, when he spends some time at Cora's estate, things get a little heated. This just also sounds really good. I love a good deception. And I love the whole, like, we need to do this because I need money. Like, there has to be some kind of stakes here. I don't know why this doesn't work for me in contemporary romance, but it always works for me in historical romance. This next one honestly has me from the very first line of the synopsis. This is The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. I've actually had this on Everand for a really long time, and I really need to read it because it says, two rival spies must brave pirates, witches, and fake matrimony to save the queen. You have Agent A and Agent B. Of course, this is Alice and Daniel Bixby. They are rival spies from rival operatives, government intelligence agencies. But they have to thwart an assassination plot by pretending to be married to each other because they're teaming up on this one. They're not too happy about that. Determined to be professional, they have to fight their growing attraction for each other. And sounds like they also have some dangerous adventures in store for them as well. Again, I've been wanting to read this really well. I love kind of the mix of the supernatural as well as historical romance. So this just looked like a really fun one. And my last book is To Catch a Raven by Beverly Jenkins. This one, it's like early American history. So I love those type of historicals as well. You have Raven Moreau, who is, you know, no stranger to lying. She comes from a long line of grifters, and she is forced to help the government. Someone is suspected of stealing the Declaration of Independence. She has to team up with Braxton Steele. They are going undercover as a housekeeper and a valet, and they have to also be undercover as husband and wife. Again, I love like the whole like spies, double agent, undercover, like all that kind of adventure. I think it's really fun, and I've read a lot of books from Beverly Jenkins. I really love her writing, and usually they are like not too dramatic, but more on the cozy side. But this one sounds adventurous, so I'm curious to see how this one is from her and if I like it. So those are all my fake dating recs, my fake engagement recs, my fake marriage recs, if you will. Let me know if you've read any of these historical romances or if you want to read them now. Thank you to everyone else doing this tag. I can't wait to watch everyone's videos. As always, thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!